It's not the company, it's the people. Companies don't hire you, people hire you. Yeah. So if you have a buddy that works at a Fortune 100, 500, or 10,000 company and it's something that matches your skill set and they'll pay you for it, that's where you go. Where did your network go to? That's part of the reason you stay on people's radar, because the job market's so fluid. You think because you're out of work, everybody else is working where they were before. I'm the only one, I'm the victim. No, people move around. So you stay in touch. So I found out that you're not working for that company anymore. You've started your own company. And I was smart enough to stay in touch. And I call you, I said, Trevor, it's time. We had some coffee. And you go, I'm so glad you called. I'm just starting my own company. I can use you. Let's have coffee for sure, but I'm hiring.
So, Dr. Chaz, super excited you're here. Welcome to the Who You Know Show.
Thank you, Trevor. Good to be here. Great energy.
Man, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
told you that's what the coffee was for. Remember I told you backstage, I said I had 4 or
Oh,
5 cups.
I brought mine. Here you go.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Well, I want to dive in real quick. Can you start by giving us a little bit of your background and how you became a leadership coach and especially an expert in the gig economy? Can you talk to us about that?
I've been a college professor about 20 years and started teaching courses in communication and business, and saw an opening there that we're not training people for the workforce. There's a gap between academia and the working world. And I heard from my colleagues in the business world, what are you doing with these people? Yeah, they're not ready. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to write. They don't understand how business works. So I realized I could fill that gap and started working to create courses. I have 2 books that have been published. A third one's coming out soon. I've got 3 LinkedIn learning courses on how to find, keep, and leave a job. I'll have work for as long as I want to work because the things have changed so radically in the business world. People are just flipping out. Like, what do I do? It's not the way it was with my folks or my grandparents. There's no corporate loyalty. I'm kind of on my own. I don't know what to do. I help people navigate all that. I'm sort of the bridge between academia and the business world.
Wow. Okay. So you touched on a lot there. I want to dive into a couple pieces of that because you talked about no corporate loyalty. I see that all the time with these job seekers. Okay. What do you think it is? Why are the corporations not being loyal anymore? You said it's not the old way. It's not what it used to be.
It's I don't want to trash corporations. They're about the bottom line. So they're not bad people. And
Mic
I
drop.
tell my students I tell my students and my private clients, if you were in their position, you would do the same. You're trying to save money. You're trying to cut down on costs. One of the biggest cost is labor, and having to give people benefits is expensive. So it's easier for me if I'm running a company to just hire people as needed for a 6-month contract, a 6-week contract, whatever it is, and not have to pay them benefits or not have them work full time so I don't have to pay benefits. I'm I'm protecting the bottom line because there are other employees there. And if I'm giving a lot of money away, I can't keep people working for me. So I have to be cost conscious. So that's why that happened, for financial reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Financial reasons. I was just having this conversation the other day. A lot of these companies, the stock owned companies, right? And when the stocks are doing well, okay, they're hiring. And then when the stock market drops, right? Listen, they're the big layoffs, and so we saw it in 2008, 2009. I got caught up in that myself. I got let go in 2009. And in a sales position, no less, right? I was selling Harley Davidsons. Okay. But guess what? In 2008, 2009, the market was down and people weren't really buying motorcycles, especially Harley Davidsons at that time. So I got caught up in that. And then we saw it again during, COVID, right? And we don't know what's ahead. We don't know what's ahead. We do know that we are overdue, okay, technically, a recession, so we're overdue that. But we don't know. And so you're kind of like, as an employee, what do you recommend for people to do? Because we know, like, there's no safety.
You got to be cognizant of market conditions. It's not the company is not a safe harbor the way it used to be decades ago. Yeah, they're not going to take care of you. They can't. You're on your own, essentially. What you've got is your network. Yes, what you've got is the people you know. That's what'll keep you going. So you go from one project to another project to another project. So you're always working, but you can't rely on I'm here at the company. I got a job. I'm done. I'll be here for 40 years. I'll get a pension and a gold watch. Ain't going to happen anymore. So you have to, whether you like it or not, and this was true for me too, you have to become entrepreneurial and look at yourself as a brand and understand what your market value is and always upskill so that people in your target market will always hire you, but don't expect them to hire you forever. Yeah. You got to understand and appreciate the employer's perspective.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give you another mic drop for that, okay? Because you had a bunch of little golden nuggets in there, okay? Number one is, you said your network, okay? So I'm sure you probably heard that your network is your net worth, right? And it's who and so what I see a lot of times is people go to work in corporate America and they just kind of put their head down and like just get to like they're not building relationships once they get back to work. And it's like, no, hold on, we need to go out there and actively pursue building relationships inside that company, and outside that company while you're working, because guess what, the average tenure on a job nowadays is 3 to 4 years. So 3 to 4 years down the road, I would bet on it that you're going to be back in the job search all over again.
Like the average lifespan of an NFL player is 3 or 4 years. So think of yourself as an NFL player, but you don't get paid quite as well. I'll go one step further though than it's not just who you know. It's a matter of staying on their radar. Yeah. Just because I know you, if I'm not in touch with you on a regular basis, you're going to forget about me. You've got other things to do than take care of me. So we have to find a way. I have to find a way. Let's say you're somebody who could hire me. I'm a journeyman and I can do certain things for your company and you can hire me. My job is to always be there in a non-intrusive way where you think of me. When something comes up, we've just talked, we just had lunch, we just had coffee, you just sent me an email, you just sent me a meme, you just sent me something that I'm interested in, and you've risen to the top of the list again. So when something comes up, there's an opening, you need my skill set, you think of me. That's my job, because we met once at a conference and you gave me a card and I gave you a card. We are not friends now. Okay. And you are not going to think of me when something comes up that I could do that you could pay me for.
You got to be top of mind, right? Top of mind. And how do you create that top of mind awareness? Okay. Because it's really what it is. It's an awareness issue. And I teach people all the time, the job seekers that I'm communicating with, is to create a marketing funnel for yourself, because essentially, everybody says, the job search is sales. You got to sell yourself. Well, what comes before sales? Like, there is no sales without marketing. Like, before you go drive through the McDonald's drive through and order a Big Mac, okay, think about it. What do you have to see in the sky first? You got to see the golden arches, right? Well, what are those golden arches? That's marketing, right? It's sticking up in the sky saying, hey, come over here, right? So that's awareness. We need to be aware that there's a McDonald's around the corner, right? So you know what I'm talking about? So these job seekers, they've got to market themselves. They got to come to market. When you're you're on the market now, come to market.
Yeah.
And
so two ways. Let me tell you 2 ways, Trevor, I do that. Okay,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
will
yeah,
be,
absolutely.
I think, a good example for the people tuning in here. If it's virtual, if we're not in the same city or the same country, okay, it's a matter of posting on social media on a regular basis. I have over 35,000 followers on LinkedIn, and your viewers are certainly welcome to follow me on LinkedIn. But I'm constantly posting. My followers are primarily, I would say probably 95% at this point, people who work in career and or education. So I post things relevant to them on a regular basis. So I'm top of mind. Yes, that's how I communicate with people I can't meet with in person. But the other part of it is, if I can meet with you in person, it's coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever I can afford at the time, whatever your viewers or listeners can afford. Yes, we need to develop a personal relationship. If again, using you as the model, if I'm going to work for you, let me take you out for coffee. Can we have breakfast? Let's catch up. Let's see what's going on. I'm paying, and we get to know each other, and I get to know your sweet spots. So I get to know, like, you're interested in Harley Davidsons, for example. Yeah. So there's an interesting article I found about Harley Davidson, or some photographs, or there's a conference about Harley Davidsons, and I know you're interested. I will send you a text, I will send you an email. Yeah, maybe give you a call, let you know, hey, I got a couple of free tickets for this conference. Would you be interested? Yes. So I'm always hitting that sweet spot, not in an intrusive way, not every day, not maybe once a month, every few weeks, so that I'm top of mind for you. And you know that I care about you personally and know what's going on in your life and what matters to you. And so I'll call you and say, hey, I got a couple of tickets, and you go, wow, so your timing is perfect. Somebody just left, and I can use your services. Could you come in tomorrow at 10 o'clock? And I have work.
I love that. I love that. So, building the relationships, guys, you can do it online, you can do it in person. And I love the strategy here of commonality. Finding that thing in common. How can you bridge a gap? Like you were talking about Harley Davidson and things like that. How can we find something in common? Uh, and
Points of, I
something
call it,
that
what I call it is points of resonance.
points of
Yeah.
resonance.
Points of
Okay, I
points
love
of
that.
resonance. Okay.
I love
How do
that.
we tie in? And listen, we all know people hire who they know and trust. Yeah.
Mm,
So the better you know me, assuming I can deliver. Yes, you're not going to hire me because I'm a nice guy and I also like Harley Davidsons.
ooh.
I have to have both. You have to like me. We have to have something in common, and I
Yep.
have to be able to produce the results. Yeah,
So
and
no like
deliver
and trust.
consistently.
No like and trust. Okay. And I love that because it's so true. So let me ask you this. In a day and age where we're applying online and the application goes in the black hole, okay, and you're getting canned emails, automated canned emails saying thanks but no thanks. Okay. How does someone build that know, like, and trust quickly? How do they do that?
If we're faced, well, if we're face to face, if we're in the same city, okay, it's that face to face meeting. Nothing will ever replace that. Yes, that you get to know me and trust me.
Yeah, but
If
I'm a
we
busy recruiter online. I don't have time to meet with you for coffee.
got it, but
Sorry. I
we're,
got I got I got another I got 100 job seekers in
oh,
my
of
in my
course,
DMs right now trying to hit me up. I'm not going to sit down with you for coffee,
got it.
right?
So we used, right. We used the side door. Okay.
Oh, okay. I
Yes,
like this. Here
and
we go. Here we go. Now we're talking.
yeah, the side door is we're members of the same associations, organizations, groups in our industry. So you can't run away from me because we're both at a dinner for the Harley Davidson Association, okay, of California, whatever it happens to be. And I see you. You can't get away. Can we sit and talk for a minute? Sure, absolutely. I will now go to the top of the queue because I will impress you in terms of my knowledge, my experience, how charming I am, etc. This guy can deliver. I know him, I like him, I met him. All the people with resumes who sent him in that you don't have time to read, who are in many cases more qualified than I am, they're not going to get the time of day from you. I will, because sometimes good enough is good enough. I know this guy. I've met him. I've volunteered with him in the association. I like his work ethic. He's got a good attitude. He's a good team player. He's good enough. Sometimes good enough is good enough. Am I the most Am I the best candidate in the world for this? No. But I'm not hiring a CEO. I'm not doing a year-long search with headhunters around the country and around the world. For this particular task, this guy will do. He's fine. And if I deliver, you're going to hire me again. I'm going to stay in touch with you. I know this guy delivers. I like him. I trust him. Good to go.
Love that. Okay, so you talking about associations. I love that. Where are you located, Dr. Chaz? Where do you live?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay, so here in Dallas, we've got a ton. I mean, it's like there's so many different associations and networking groups and meetings, and even for job seeker groups, they got tons of these groups where they meet up and are helping each other, and it's really, really.
I'm not a huge fan of those.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay.
Yeah, because you want to network up, as I call it. Okay.
Mm,
My talking to other job seekers, if I'm a job seeker, it devolves into a pity party.
it can.
Who I want to hang with are the
Mm.
people who could hire me or refer me for work. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I will. I want to push back just a little bit on that. I agree with what you're saying. It can be definitely a pity party. However, what I also have seen is that you have accountability groups. You have these groups where they get to lean on each other when they are having that dark moment. Because let me tell you something. Job search can be so hard. It can be. It can be devastating, crushing, and sometimes you need to vent and get it out. Now, again, to your point, there is such thing as too much. If you have a cancer in the group, right? Nobody wants to be around that energy, because at the end of the day, it is energy, and that energy can transfer if you have a cancer in the group that's just pulling everybody down. So I agree with you 100%. But it can be healthy, though, if you have a support group, people that are all with the same goal in mind, the same mission, helping each other, encouraging each other. If we have the right mindset, a winning mindset, it can actually be a positive thing. But you're right. I've seen it go the opposite direction too, where you get some cancers in there and one bad apple spoils the bunch, right? And you don't want to be around that negative energy. So
yeah, point
I agree
taken.
with you.
Point taken.
Yeah,
Um,
it could go either way, really. I've seen
yeah,
both.
yeah.
Yeah. I
What?
think it depends on the leadership, right? If you have a good leader, like the groups that I try to facilitate, I'm trying to motivate, educate, inspire, lift them up, and give them hope, encourage them, right? And I think it's about leadership. And if you got somebody up on the leadership team who's maybe a little bit less, little, their energy's low,
Yeah, it makes a
you know what I'm
difference.
talking about. It does.
What I recommend to my clients is not just hanging with groups or joining groups, but the next step, which is volunteering. Okay. So
Mic drop. Let's go.
this is how I'm going to go back to this model. Okay. You're in a hiring position and I'm a journey person in this field. Okay. In the Harley Davidson field. How do I get to you? We're both part of the same association. I find out what group or what particular group is fine in the Harley Davidson Association, okay, that you volunteer for, and I volunteer for the same thing. Yes, so it's the word I was looking for was committee. Okay, so you're the chairman of the dinner committee for the Harley Davidson Association of the Southwest. Yes, I volunteer for that group. Yeah, now I get to audition for you. We have meetings every couple of weeks to plan our dinners. Yes, you get to see me in action. You get to see how hard a worker I am, how I come in early, stay late. I'm a good team player. I have good ideas and a good attitude. When you're ready to hire, all you got to do is turn to me and say, "Hey, would you be interested in working for me?" You've already proven yourself. So I want to get to the movers and shakers, which in this case is you, and it's through volunteering at this association we're both a part of.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Volunteering also, when you give, trust me, when you give, you get. Okay. It's biblical. We reap, you sow. Okay. And when you give, it feels good. You get a dopamine hit, man. You give, and then you feel good. And I'm telling you, when you're in a job search and you feel like crap all the time, like go give give yourself, because a lot of times why you feel like crap is because you feel worthless. You feel like you're not productive. You feel like you haven't done anything, you're not getting results. And it's like, you might have been a confident person in your previous role and job and what you did in life, right? And the longer your job search takes, your confidence starts to take a hit. Bop, 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 bop. You feel like you haven't done anything productive in the world. And then, so like, go volunteer, go be productive, go give yourself free without any expectations, and watch how it makes you feel.
I have sections in my book about how to stay sane through a job search. Okay. So that volunteering is part of it, giving is part of it, also taking care of yourself, going to the gym on a regular basis. Something else I talk about is compressing your day. So you're only going to spend so many hours in a day looking for work that's going to be productive. Yeah, you're not going to spend 8 hours. What you need is 2 hours. So go to the movies, go to the gym, volunteer, have breakfast, meet with people, and then compress it so you've got 2 hours left, and you'll get the job done in 2 hours. If you had 8 hours open, you would spend 6 of them drinking coffee or worrying or putting yourself down to get to the 2 hours. So make it so you force yourself that you have a 2 hour window, and the rest of the time you're spending productively, whether it's going to the gym, coffee, whatever it happens to be, and volunteering.
I love that. Great recommendation, because it's a mindset, game, a lot of it. I mean, I would say the majority of it is the mindset, because if you're in a crappy mindset, if you're, oh, woe is me, if you were talking about the Debbie Downer, you're just all in the dumps, you don't have the motivation to do what is required, to do what's necessary. And the employer doesn't want to hire that person anyways, because why would they? Right? Think about it. Like, now we know that's not who you are. That's like, when you're in that Debbie Downer, like, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're fearful, that's not necessarily who you are. That's what you're going through. But the employer, that doesn't resonate to the employer. The employer sees that, feels that energy on you. It's like a cloud around you. They see it when you go in for an interview. And a lot of times you see job seekers, they'll be short with the employer, right? Because their fuse is small. They're working on their timeline, not the employer's timeline. Like, they're thinking about, oh, I got to get back to work right now. And like,
We got to throw that whole model out about the traditional interview process. Okay, that's not how it happens anymore for the most part. Yeah. So I'm now another guy. I've got my resume, and I know how to interview. I know how to dress, and I finally get an interview with you. And I actually think in 45 minutes or half an hour, I'm going to impress you, that you're going to hire me. That's like I tell my younger male students and clients, I say, go to a bar, go up to a strange woman and say, you want to sleep with me, and see what's going to happen. You have to develop a relationship.
whoosh, she gonna
Okay,
smack
nope,
you real
not going to
fast.
happen. Okay, and then you get disappointed, right? So
Oh,
I thought I did great in the interview, and then I second guess myself. Oh, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have worn that. I should have done this. I stop it. You were
oh,
never going to get the
yes.
job anyway. You know who was going to get the job? The other guy who was volunteering in the association with
Uh,
Trevor because he knows him. Well, but I'm more qualified. Yeah, but I don't know you, man, and I don't trust you. But this
uh,
guy Chaz, who I work with in the association, we volunteered together on the dinner committee. I'm hiring him. Well, it's not
mm,
fair. Well, as I tell people, you want fair, go watch a movie. All right,
oh,
life ain't fair. Okay. You got to have that edge. Yes. And the edge is we have a relationship through our association, through that committee. We've had beers, we've had coffee, we've had breakfast a few times, and you know me, you like me, and he'll do. I like him. He's a good guy. I've worked with him. Good work ethic. I'm hiring him. So the other person, he probably will never get the interview. And if you legally, big companies have to interview, they have to post the job, they have to interview, and you're busting your hump trying to do the right thing in the interview, and you never had a chance. The whole thing was rigged. It's the other guy who was getting the job. I want my clients to be that other person.
that's good. That's good. Okay, so this obviously, I would believe, translates to helping people who are also dealing with age discrimination. I would think that that would be even more important that you get out face to face and you start shaking some hands, kissing some babies. Okay. You got to be like a politician out there. You got to be shaking some hands, building some relationships, getting out there, these associations like you're talking about. Because otherwise, listen, I'm sure you see it all the time. Age discrimination is a real thing.
Oh yeah, ageism, absolutely true. Yes, you're constantly lobbying. Okay, you've got two jobs: your job and marketing yourself for the rest of your life. And what I tell people is, you got to do this for as long as you want to work. Okay, um, when you're dead, you're off the hook. But before then, this is what you need to do. Now, what I tell older people, okay, and honestly, they say millennials are entitled. The most entitled people I've worked with are baby boomers. I deserve a job. Whoa. Okay. let's pare back from that. No, you don't. Okay. So if you have some money you've built up, what I tell them, and this is weird, I tell them buy a job. Huh? What? Buy a job. Invest in a company. Make yourself executive VP. There's your job. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to work your network because there are people in positions to hire you who don't care how old you are. It's not important to them. What's important to them is your experience and your proven success and that you've delivered. Yes. And I don't care about your age. So all these things that in the traditional sense, people look at a resume and go, whoa, well, they're really old. Forget them. Okay. I'm not hiring my grandpa. Yeah. These are people who say, I don't care about your age or anything else. I'm buying your experience. I'm buying your proven accomplishments. Yes, I don't care. Get in here. I need you tomorrow. And we're done. Yeah. So that's when you really rely. That's part of the reason you build that network, because now you have people in positions to hire who know you. And if they know you're available, they'll hire you in a second. And you can
Okay.
completely
So
avoid the traditional looking for work and interview nonsense.
100%. The application at that point becomes a formality. The resume becomes a formality. I mean, you definitely have to have the skill sets, obviously, but what you're saying is, I mean, it's just part of the process. But okay, so let me ask you this question: for somebody who may be dealing, because my audience, a lot of them are dealing with age discrimination. Okay, so and that's what I love to help them with is to overcome that. So, question I have for you is with in that scenario, the baby boomer generation, they're dealing with this, they're getting overlooked. Would you recommend Fortune 100 companies, like your small, mid, or large companies?
It's not the company, it's the people. Companies don't hire you, people hire you. Yeah. So if you have a buddy that works at a Fortune 100, 500, or 10,000 company and it's something that matches your skill set and they'll pay you for it, that's where you go. Where did your network go to? That's part of the reason you stay on people's radar, because the job market's so fluid. You think because you're out of work, everybody else is working where they were before. I'm the only one, I'm the victim. No, people move around. So you stay in touch. So I found out that you're not working for that company anymore. You've started your own company. And I was smart enough to stay in touch. And I call you and say, Trevor, it's time. We had some coffee. And you go, I'm so glad you called. I'm just starting my own company. I can use you. Let's have coffee for sure, but I'm hiring. Yeah. So
Yeah,
people, it's the people, it's the relationships that matter,
correct.
not the
I
companies.
would agree with that. I would
Yeah.
agree with that. The reason I asked that question is because, from my experience, some of the larger companies, they're like Fort Knox. Okay, like getting to those relationships can be very, very tough, and they got all these different departments in the hiring process, and there's multiple rounds of interviews. I mean, USAA, USAA. I had a gentleman, 12 rounds of interviews. Oh my gosh, 12 rounds of interviews. Insane. He did get the job, but can you imagine the guy who didn't get the job? Oh my God, the guy he's competing with that does 12 rounds of interviews. Like in my opinion, they should have paid that guy, right? They should have given him some money. Hey, you spent 12 rounds of interviews. Like, you should pay that guy. But my point is, some of these larger companies, right? They make you jump through hoop. And then, again, to build that relationship, and they got a bigger pool. They have a bigger pool to select from. So they're going to be super, super selective. So their whole goal is to hire the most qualified candidate for the less amount of money. Okay, they don't want to shell out a lot of money, right? It's a business decision, so they want to get the best product and pay the least amount for it, right? So they got a giant pool, and like, I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen, relationship actually means it's not that it's impossible. I think it's harder with the larger companies because they have a larger pool, they're more selective, things like that. The smaller companies, right? Real small companies, entrepreneurs, business owners that, maybe they've got, 10, 15, 20, under 100 employees. It's a smaller company. You could get to know the CEO. You could build a relationship with the CEO. A big Fortune 100 company, good luck.
Let me stop you. Let's pretend you're my
Okay.
client. Okay. First
Yes.
question: why do you want to work for a Fortune 100 company? They're going to lay you
Bingo.
off in a few years anyway, or a few months anyway. Cut it out. You think
Yeah.
working for this big company that's going to guarantee something?
And you're
Not
not
at
going to be
all.
able to make a difference either.
Yeah,
You're not going to be able to make a
that too.
difference, right?
What you need it for
Yeah.
your ego that you're working for a name brand company? How about working for a company that's going to pay you and keep you on maybe a little longer? Okay, so knock it off. What do you need this? You need to some sort of star power. Cut it out. Okay, go work your network, see what's available, and the size of the company is irrelevant. What matters is, are you going to get the money you want? Okay, and might there possibly be some slightly longer longevity in that job? Uh, stop working so hard. Okay, work your network, and you won't have to work so hard because it can be one phone call. Hey, I'm available. And by the way, you're not unemployed. You're available. Okay, better look. It's a better spin on that. You're available. Yes. So you contact your whole network. Hey, I'm available. You just lost your job. I'm available. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad you called. I know you. I trust you. We've worked together for years. You're my guy. I'm so glad. There's a perfect time. Come on in tomorrow morning. Meet with me and the CEO because we're ready to hire you. And we're done. And you avoided the whole process, the resume, the cover letter, all that nonsense.
And also make sure to consider, okay, just consider your mutual or privately held companies, okay? Because less volatility, they're looking at long term. Typically, they're looking at long term. They're not, again, with the stock owned companies, it's all about what's going on in the market. Okay, they're trying to please the shareholders, and so it's about the bottom line, as you were talking about earlier. With a mutual company or a privately held company, you got a little bit less of that going on. And so
Yeah,
you
but
typically,
again, I got to stop you, Trevor.
okay, go ahead, go
My
ahead.
client, Trevor. Okay, stop looking for a job. Look for work. Okay, I have a model I built, and it's in my books. Okay, called the multiple income streams approach. Okay. So think of a wagon wheel. Okay. The hub is your brand. What do you offer that people will pay for? Yes. And the spokes coming out of the wheel are all the different ways you can make money. So you have different clients, not one boss who looks at you sideways or the market went down. And thank you for your wonderful service, Trevor. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. Thanks for 10 years. Okay. You've got different clients, all of whom need you, use you, pay you. Yes. So one is 6 months, one is 6 weeks. You're never unemployed. You're always got money coming in. There's always another income stream that's happening.
Yeah, you have to. I love that. So you got to think about, what value do you contribute? What is your skill set? How can you, not just like you said, not a job, not just go work at corporate America, but how can you put that skill set to work in the market to make, like consulting, or, to do, like you're talking about, the gig economy. Because let's dive into the gig economy. Okay. For those that are listening to this that don't really understand what the heck that means, what's the gig economy? Explain that. And then why is it so important, especially in today's day and age? And why did it get to this point?
The gig economy, the term gig comes from the jazz world of the 30s and 40s, where if you're a musician, you don't have a job. You don't punch in to Jazz Incorporated 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Okay. You've got a short tour. You've got a weekend at a club. Okay. You've got a recording date. Yeah. So that concept, people in the entertainment industry understand this implicitly because they've been doing it forever. Yes, not just music, but movies and TV too. It's on a project by project basis. This has now gone over to the rest of the working world. All industries are becoming like this now. You gotta go with the program. This is the way it's going. Yes. So the multiple income streams approach, which my students dub the wheel for obvious reasons, um, that's the way to go. You have to back into this. Even if, listen, I tell them, look, I'm not entrepreneurial by nature, okay, but I'm addicted to eating. So I had to do this. And everyone I know eventually gets to this point. You're tired of the corporate game. You're tired of the fact that they say you're part of the family, which, please, I always tell people I counsel, my clients, when they say you're part of the family, run away because it's a lie.
They're
As
like,
soon as
hey,
it's go ahead.
they're like, hey, you're part of the family. Drink this blue Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Drink this Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, as soon as the economy turns down, suddenly you're not part of the family. Okay, so that's nonsense. Please. Okay, so whether you back in or you embrace it fully, at some point you do embrace it fully, honestly, and you're looking for clients. You have relationships. You're developing them. You're deepening them, and there's always work for you. Yes, that's the gig economy. And the sooner you embrace it and you don't have to, my students hate this. I don't care if you like it. And what? No, you don't have to like it. You just have to do it. Like a winter coat in Chicago. Okay. It's bulky, it's heavy. But if you don't wear it, you're going to freeze to death. So you're going to have to deal with this. So they hate it at first. And then after a while, they go, you know what? I still don't like it, but this works. This is the way I will always have work and money coming in. Okay. To think of myself entrepreneurially, to figure out what my brand is, to upskill all the time, to stay in touch with people, let them know I'm available, and I'll always have work, and I'll never be reliant on that one particular boss who that day decided they don't want me there anymore.
You see why I told y'all, guaranteed mic drops on this show today. I told y'all, listen, I love your passion for this, man. I love it. And I love your no nonsense, just you call it how it is. You're not going to sugarcoat this thing. Listen, you need to wear the coat in the winter. Okay. Doesn't matter if you like the way it looks or the style or whatever. You got to wear it. Put the coat on. Okay. This is what it is nowadays. The situation has changed. The 30, 40 years that a company go watching a pension, as you mentioned earlier, it does not, well, there's a few companies out there, but very, very few. Okay. Call yourself lucky if you get something like that, but don't rely on that. Okay. Do not rely on that because it's not going to happen.
This ain't going to last. This is not a marriage. Okay. It's not going to last. We love your work and we're cutting back. We sold the company. We're moving to another town. Whatever it happens to be, do not expect long-term care. A different way to look at long-term care. Do not expect long-term care from a company. This is not your grandpa's world anymore. Okay, it is the gig economy. It is having your own brand. It is marketing, and it is your network and the relationships you've developed with people that's going to get you through.
So let me ask you this: what advice would you give to a college student or something like that, or maybe a high school student thinking about going to college to, go put, level up their skill set to go to market? What would you say to somebody like that?
Intern, get a paid internship if you can. And what's important are the relationships you're going to make. Equally important from the work you're going to do there. Start meeting people, start developing relationships and friendships with people, because these people spot you as a high school student. Boy, this kid's a hard worker. Okay, we're going to have an opening. When do you go to college? Would you take a gap year? Okay, could you work part-time for us? They spot talent. They like that. Yes. And those relationships are going to get you through. So get out and work. Forget about, I'm going to find the perfect job. Oh God, I've heard this so much from college students. I'm waiting for the perfect job. If you find it, it ain't going to last long anyway. So knock it off. Get to work. Okay. Also, don't and this is crazy because I have a doctorate. All right, I've got a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate. Doctorate's a terminal degree, and I tell people don't overeducate yourself. Okay, they want to go straight from college or straight from high school to college, straight from college to a master's program. I said, a master's in what? You just hanging out in the school because you're scared. Get out and work. Find out if you need a master's at all. You may not. Okay. I've worked with car mechanics. I said, don't bother with college. Okay. Get some certificates, a master's certificate in fixing cars because that's what they're paying for. Yes. Don't go out and go to school, another degree. Find it if you need it. And you may find a company that hires you that will pay for your education. And maybe it's not an MBA, maybe it's an MFA. You don't know. Get out there, meet people, let them guide you. Yes, and develop those relationships. Yeah, those are the people who can hire or refer you for the rest of your career.
Yeah, I love that, and I think they should do a better job in school teaching different ways to make money. Okay, because ultimately that's what you're going to college for, anyways, is to go to the marketplace and make money, right? To be able to provide for yourself and your family and build a life and have success and all of that. Okay, great. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, you could be an entrepreneur. You could be an intrapreneur. You could be an employee at a company, right? Like there's a lot of different ways to do this. And I think that they're doing a disservice nowadays by only teaching, go to college, get your degree, get into debt, and go work for the man. Is that's what they want you to do.
And then you've got debt that
Oh yeah.
you have to pull out from under. Which
Oh
listen, it's
yeah.
scary. There are people in the workforce who are decades from college. They're still paying off their college loans. That's insane to be in
Yeah,
that
and give up
hole.
on your dreams too, by the way, because you had dreams. So give up on your dreams. Okay, go to college and do something you hate, and go work for the man for a job that's not secure, and get into debt. And every 3 to 4 years, you're going to be back on the marketplace.
Yeah, I have
How's that sound?
I have some I have some credibility given I'm so educated. 20 years of education. I've got a doctorate, and it's so weird to tell people don't get that degree. You don't need it. Okay, you can't monetize the degree. Yeah, there's no point. You can get it later, maybe. Okay, once you're in your 60s and you're retired, you got money, go back to college, get a college degree if you need it. But if you don't need it for the workplace, don't bother.
I love this. This coming from a doctor, okay? Okay, and listen, from a very educated man, he's telling you, like, and most people, what I have found is if they have been through college, right? They spent the money, they got into debt, they went through all that. They sure do want to, and it's natural. They want to defend that. Oh, you need to, you got to go to college, right? Because they went through it, they paid for it. It's like, right? They want to defend it, and so I love the fact that you're just calling it how it is. You're a real dude. Like you're just saying, hey, listen, not anymore. You don't really need that anymore.
Depends. We have to
Depends.
customize it. We have to customize it for the individual. Okay.
Correct. That's
In
what they
some
should do.
cases,
And
you do need a
yes,
college degree. You want to
yes,
be a nurse? Okay.
yes.
You must have an RN, period.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm
Correct.
really good with patients and I've worked in hospitals. Do you have an RN? That's your passport to getting a job as a nurse. So some things, absolutely, it's credibility. You have to have that. I wanted to teach at the university level. They wouldn't touch me. They wouldn't talk to me without a doctorate. So I got a doctorate. Okay. So you have to look at it on a case by case basis. What do you need? You're a car mechanic. Let's push college to the side here. Okay. Let's get you a certificate as a master. I can't remember the term, car mechanic. Okay. Because when garages hire you, you have to look at the marketplace and be entrepreneurial when you start to meet people who own garages. What do you need for me to work here? If you had this, and this, these certificates, I would hire you. So go get them. Okay. Then you'll get work.
I would say that you got a majority of people, though, and I agree with you, it's case by case, but there's a majority that is being sent off to college, getting in this debt, trillions of dollars, and they're not even going to work in the industry they went to, school for, or a lot of them don't even finish their degrees. And it's incredible what happens and what you see. And I think you're right. They need to do a better job one-on-one, sitting down with an individual and seeing what their passions, their goals, their missions, what do they want to do with their life? What are their dreams? Like you think about kids when they're young, they got dreams, man. I want to be a rock star or whatever it is. Like, can you make money that way? If they put the time and energy, like think about that. If I put, okay, let's say it cost me 50 grand to go to college or 100 grand to go to college. Okay. What if I put that into me? What if I put that into my dream, my dream of being the world rock star, whatever it is that I had at that time, right? Could I be that? I probably could. Just saying.
It's a distinction I've created called monetizable passion. Okay. You may love doing something, but doesn't mean you can make a living at it. Yes. So your dream is to be a rock star, but chances are it ain't going to happen. Okay. I was a trained musician. Yeah. And
But it definitely won't happen. Definitely won't happen if you give up and go to college and get in debt and go do something else. It
that's
definitely won't
true.
happen.
That's true. But
Right?
this is,
So like while you're young and risk is low, right? You don't have the bills, you don't have the family, you don't have the kids, you don't have the mortgage. When things are low and your risk is low, freaking go for it. You're going to be on your deathbed. You're going to be on your deathbed regretting the fact that you quit on your dreams. Like no one wants to live in regret. Go for it while you're young.
agreed. But as you get a little older and you're in high school or getting out of high school or getting out of college, okay, this is where the monetizable passion comes in. You have to be entrepreneurial, understand the marketplace, okay? So, yes, I want to be a rock star still. Fine. So get a job in the music industry, yeah, while you're busking, okay, while you're trying to make it as a musician, because it's really tough, okay? I always joke to people, I was a trained musician. I only lack two things, talent and drive. Otherwise, I would have been Paul McCartney, okay? It wasn't there for me. I realized I ain't that good and I'm not that committed, okay? Because I realized in order to be that great at the top level, I played drums. In order to be at the top level, I would have to practice like 8, 10 hours a day. I was not willing to do that. So I still enjoy music. Yes, I still play occasionally. So it's not a monetizable passion. What it becomes is a hobby. Okay. So you still get to express yourself. Okay. But you're not dependent on it for making a living. You're doing things related to it. Yes.
That's a good way to look at it. Hold on. I love the way what you just said there. Okay. So you take your passion, okay, whatever that is, whether it's playing guitar or whatever it is, okay, whatever your passion is. And if you can't say that I would love to devote at least 8 hours a day to this passion every single day, like 8 hours, like, because if you just do 1 hour a day, well, you're a hobby. Okay. Are you willing to put the same amount of time into it that you would for a job, to go to work to make money? So if you're going to do 8 hours on a job working for someone else, are you going to do 8 hours, treat it as a job for yourself to become the best? You know what I mean? And if the answer is no, if you're like, I'm not going to do 8 hours a day playing this guitar, like the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't do it. Right.
Okay, so it's a dream, but I still get to express myself as a musician, but it's not how I make a living. Okay, so you want to be okay with the fact, it's a hobby. I'm not that into it. I'm not that dedicated. I thought I was, but when it comes down to it, no, it's not my thing. But I still get to play music. Great. Okay, so it's not like, well, I was cheated from that. No, I didn't have the commitment to really make that happen for me as a career. And it's cool. I'm fine with that. Maybe I'm still working in the music industry in some capacity. So I'm still connected to it. But musician, no, not my thing. Wasn't willing to put in the hours and the time. So I think understanding that distinction is really important for people. Just because you love it, don't mean you can make a living at it.
You got to be able to monetize, to what's your point, because listen, the world doesn't move without some money. We got to have some money. Speaking of, okay, let's talk about some elements for people to create a strong personal brand in the gig economy, right? Because we talked about being able to market yourself, and it's the know, like, and trust. Even in the gig economy, you got to get somebody to pick up that gig. So what are some things people can do to have a strong personal brand?
The number of answers for that. One, presumably the industry you're interested in, you're part of these associations, you're volunteering, and you're getting mentoring from people who have been there and know what the industry's like and have a good sense of what the future is going to be. Yeah.
Networking, volunteering, mentoring.
Yes.
Okay,
And
love that.
and you're learning from them and from the
Yes.
readings they're telling you to read. Yes. For the conferences you're going to, you're learning what the future is in the industry and how your passions match with what the future is. So you want to work in this field, you need to learn X, Y, and Z. These are the new upcoming programs that are happening. This is what you need to know about. If you need to get a degree or certificate, you get that. Whatever it takes. This is part of upskilling. Yeah. And that creates your brand. And you find that niche that I can deliver these particular things to this industry. We need a specialist in that. Yes. And that's how you create the brand. And the brand is always evolving. I mean, on LinkedIn, my brand is there in my description. Yes. But that evolves over time. So will anyone's brand. It'll evolve over time because you're responding to industry conditions. Yes. So if your industry, if the people in your industry that you've met with and developed relationships with say you need to learn about AI, that's the way it's going, you learn about AI. Period. Just like for me, you have to be coachable. Yes, you get mentors, you have to be coachable. So people said you want to teach at the university level, get a doctorate. So I got a doctorate. It's you want this badly enough, you will do whatever it takes. Yes, that's how you build a brand, and you have then eventually you have a sense of these are the specific things I offer that people will pay for. We're not looking for fans, we're looking for money.
Okay, this is
Okay.
the part right there. That part right there is where I see a lot of people get some disconnect. Okay, and I think the it's important to know the problem you solve first before we go to, okay, what will people buy or whatever, what product or services will they buy. I need to know what problem I solve first, and I think that's the disconnect where a lot of people miss it. And I'll give you a couple examples. So um, for myself, when I started first helping the job seeker community, I saw a need, right? I saw a need. They were struggling. They were going through all of this. And I saw it was about networking, relationships, connection, all the stuff that we're talking about here today, right? So I saw that need and I identified, okay, that's what it's about. Well, that's what I do. That's what I can help with, right? So I was like, okay, here's a need. I can help fulfill that need, right? And I think that's when then you start to think, okay, how could I create a product, a service, a solution, something that could be monetizable, right? Like to your point, um, that could serve that need.
Yeah, let's say you work in tech. Okay, you're interested in tech. You've always loved computers since you were a baby. Yeah. Okay, I want to work in tech. Okay, where's the need? What specifically can you offer? What can you learn so you can offer people and they'll say, "Oh, I can use that. Can you come in Monday?" Yes. So it may not be a perfect match with your passions, but listen, you're making so much money that you have time to play with your passion, which is drawing on a computer in the evenings and on the weekends. The job pays for your hobby. Okay. So it's not a perfect fit necessarily. And even if it is, it won't last, as we know. Yeah. But what you're looking at is how do you tie in your passions with what the market needs, if you possibly can. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes a job is just a job. It's good enough. I like the people. I enjoy the work. It's not my passion, but what I enjoy is riding motorcycles. And every year I get 2 weeks off and I go somewhere else in the world and I ride motorcycles up and down mountains.
Yeah, there you go. Now you get both. So be aware or be open and looking for needs. Okay, look for needs. Look for problems. What problems are out there? Look for problems that you can solve, right? Everybody thinks problems are a bad thing. Well, not necessarily. Problems aren't necessarily a bad thing. Go if you can be the solution to that problem, you could make yourself a lot of money.
Yeah, you want to you look at the marketplace, you tie it in with what you like doing and what you're good at, okay, and see exactly where you fit and how you can help people. And the fit is going to be fine for a few months, and then things are going to change in the market, and you have to adjust what you can offer. AI, for example, you need to learn AI. That's the way it's going. I will learn AI, okay, because that's what people will pay for, and it still ties in with my basic brand, which is I'm a tech specialist. Okay, this is the back to the wheel model. Okay, you change the hub, you change the brand slightly, and you get new clients who need what you've got. Can you do that? Yes, I can do that. I just got a certificate in that. I just got a degree in that. Okay, so good. We can hire you. Come in Monday.
I love it. I love it. Okay, you got to identify the needs, identify the problems, and then fill in the gap. Okay, can you fill in the gap? And I think for a lot of people, I don't know if that's a. Do you think that that's a skill set to be able to see those opportunities like that? Do you think that's a skill set that's innate in people, or they have to develop that skill set to be able to see the gaps?
It's something they have to develop. Okay. No, nobody, listen, you went to college, high school, whatever. You went to college to become a chemist and you got a degree in chemistry. And then I come along and go, and you're in sales. No, 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 no. I'm a chemist. Oh, no, no. You're in sales. You're a chemist and you're in sales. You're a musician, you're in sales. Everybody's in sales. People were not trained to be in sales. They were just trained to be a chemist. I had a client once who was a nurse. She said, I don't want to have to market myself. I just want to do my job. Sorry, lady. Okay. You have to do both. Yes. So this is a learned skill and people hate learning it. They shouldn't. The idea is I shouldn't have to do this. Well, too bad. You do have to do this. Welcome to the 21st century. So they have to be trained to do this.
Absolutely. Sales is the art of communication in order to persuade people to get what you want in life, right? So, I mean, if you want somebody to marry you, you've got to persuade them to marry you. You know what I mean? You got to persuade them to fall in love with you. That is sales. Like you're actually selling yourself. And
I'll go to a deeper level,
yeah,
Trevor, a deeper level. It's about service.
yeah,
But beneath convincing people, it's about how can I be of service to you? How can I contribute to your bottom line? How can I help you? These are the specific things I can do to help you. Yes, and I have the credibility, I have the degrees, I have the experience, I have the references. I'm your guy. Yes, I can be of service to you, and you're going to make a lot of money that way, presumably, if you've chosen the right industry, a growth industry, because people will be happy to pay you for that. But beyond just, I have to convince you. How can I help you? How can I serve you?
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's also a form of communication as well, because you still have to be able to communicate it. I think communication is the number one skill set on this planet, right? If you are the best communicator on the planet, you can literally have anything you want in life, because you're going to be able to serve others' needs and you're going to be able to communicate that you are serving their needs. I mean, you think about politics, and we were talking a little offline, but they're communicating to the public, hey, I'm going to solve your needs, right? These are the problems that you're faced with. We're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to make promises, right? And they're convincing people, persuading people through communication that they are going to serve them. Ultimately, to your point, they're going to serve them, and that's what wins over the vote, right? So
I have a master's in communication, okay, from San Francisco State University. Yeah, I was in sales for 15 years. The first and most important thing, and I have a lot of clients who are in sales, and they know, and if they don't, I tell them the most important thing is listening. What do you need? My job is to serve you. I have to listen. Shut up. Listen to this guy. He'll tell you what he needs. And if I have to learn certain things, I need a guy who's good in AI. I'm gonna learn AI because I can come back to you and say, hey, I just got this certificate in AI. Oh, great. Now you have that. Now we can hire you like that. So it's listening. That's the key to communication, is listening without judgment. What do you need, Trevor? How can I help you? And if I can't help you, I can refer somebody in my network who can. Yeah. So so I have a whole conglomerate of people that I can call on. If I can't do that specific thing for you, I can get you someone who can. And then they'll refer me for things that I specialize in.
Listening and hold on. Listening and leading with questions, right? You got to have some good questions, man. Because if you don't have good questions, a lot of times people aren't going to just divulge the information you need to listen to, right? You don't, they're not going to just start talking to you. Like, so you got to have some good questions that will open them up. Once they're opened up, they're going to start telling you what they need. You've got to be able to actively listen. Don't just, because a lot of times I see this so often, right? I see it so often where the salesperson's talking the most. It's like, no, 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 no. You need to be, if you are talking, you should be asking questions and listening if you are talking, right? And then at the end, you say, hey, let me just make sure I got this. I just want to make sure I can recap, kind of what you discussed. You said, from what you told me, you're looking for X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the other. Is that right? Is that fair? Is that kind of what? Yeah. Okay, great. It shows the other person, wow, they were really listening to me. And then you say, okay, so if I were able to do this X, Y, and Z, and I could right? I know this is kind of salesy. I was in the automotive industry, but we had that if I can, will you statement, right? So it's like if I could,
Yeah.
accomplish X,
Do you have
Y,
it?
and
Do you have it
Z.
in black? If I had it in black, would you buy it? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, we have it in black. Oh,
exactly.
sure, of course.
Yeah, if I could
It's
get it in black and fit into your budget, is this the car you want to take home with you today?
it's called listening to understand, and so often we listen just to wait for a reply. Like, oh, I'm going to let him
Mm.
talk, 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 and then I'm going to tell you my better idea. Shut up, okay? Really listen, okay, so you understand. This is why going back to being part of those associations, you and I get to sit down together over coffee one day after, or let's say a beer after a committee meeting for the dinner committee, and I find out who you are, what you need, what you're looking for, and I listen and I nod my head, and I nobody's interested in my opinion. I want to hear what you need, and then I can help you. I either me or somebody in my network, I can be a resource for you ongoingly for what you need. And then you also start to have a very positive opinion about me. This is a guy who actually listens to me. He actually pays attention, and that's so rare. I want to keep in touch with this guy. And then you can refer me for other work, other clients. If you can't use me, I like this guy. I have a colleague who needs what you got. Let me give you his phone number. And suddenly I have work.
I love this. This is amazing. I mean, I think that to your point, I asked you the question about do you feel like this problem solving and finding the need and providing the solution and service, do you feel like that is innate in people? You said no, it's really more of a learned skill. You're right. I feel like it is sales. It's a skill set of sales. And I feel like not a lot of people get into sales. They don't like sales. Sales is gross. They don't want to do it because of a couple of reasons. I think fear of rejection is one of them. I think another one is not having that guaranteed paycheck, right? If it's a commission sales type of environment, they don't have a cushy, salary. But my point to this is I personally feel like every person like out of high school or maybe even in high school, okay, as a job, like they should go sell some cars, maybe for like a year, sell cars, wait on tables. And it's going to teach them some very, very, very valuable lessons. Number one, people skills, right? Think about it. We live in a day and age where people's idea of people skills is texting and, on your phone and emojis and all this, that, and the other. And they don't have people skills anymore, right? And so send them out there in the marketplace into an environment where they got to meet all types of different people, like I did when I was in the automotive industry. Older people, younger people, every ethnicity, background, you name it. I had to have conversations with them. And I'm just telling you, it was so valuable for me in my early 20s. I learned a lot through that.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately, younger people are too tied into their phones, and their skills in terms of personal contact and communication, they're atrophied. They're not developed. I should say they're not developed. Forget about atrophy. They're just not developed. Yes, true. Because again, people hire who they know and trust. You are not my friend because we text each other. You are not, I do not have 35,000 friends on LinkedIn. Sorry for all the people who follow me. Okay. These are not friends. These are not relationships. Not yet. Okay. But I can work them into relationships as we meet each other face to face on a regular basis and build trust and confidence and a sense of who I am and who you are and how we match up. Where are the points of resonance? How can we help each other? Who do you know? What do you need? Who do you know? I got somebody. I can do it. I got somebody else who can do it. I'm happy to refer you. I need a graphic designer at the moment. Okay. So I contacted a friend of mine and he, good friend, he's a great graphic designer. And he said, I can't do it, but I have a colleague who can. Let me put you in touch with her. Like that. And that's life. Listen, it's commerce. Life, business is trading favors as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So the bigger your network, the more I can help other people. So if I can't help you directly, I got a guy. I know some, you need this, you need that. I know somebody. And the more I build that, the more valuable I am to people.
And I love that. You're absolutely right. Some of the best relationships, the most like absolute solid relationships that I have. Wait a minute, I'm getting some kind of, what was that? I heard some kind of noise. Anyway, some of the most solid relationships that I have, I think about it, and it's because we're doing this thing together. We're in the business trenches together. We're trying to, like, I'm helping them accomplish their goals. They're helping me accomplish my goals, right? Iron sharpening iron. And we're in the trenches together. We're growing together. We're watching it happen, and it's amazing over the years. And I'll do anything for them. They'll do anything for me. If I need something, I know they got my back, and I got their back. You see what I'm saying? And so, and I think, was it Zig Ziglar that said, who was it that said, you know, help people get what they want in life, and you can have anything you want in life. Somebody said it was something like that. It was a quote.
Yeah.
Was it Zig Ziglar?
Don't remember who, but I've heard it.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically, help people get what they want out of life, and you can have anything you want out of
It's
life. And it's so true.
it's such a joy to be able to help people. I mean, really, to be able to, you need something. I got a guy. I know somebody. I know someone. I know a woman. I'm happy to help you. What do you need? How can I help? And my network is part of my strength, that I'd have all those people that I can make one phone call to. And if I want to learn something, I don't have to go to Google. I call someone who's done that work, is doing that work, is on the ground, and can give me the information I need, which I can then give to you if that's what you need.
And sometimes even just trying to help, even if you don't, like, I'll give you an example, because I tell the job seekers this that I work with all the time. I'm like, hey, figure out how you can serve people. How can you help them? How can you give back? All of that, right? Oh, I don't know how to help. I'm like, did you ask, and did you try? Did you did you even ask the question? Because I'll give you an example. When I first walked into that church years ago, about 7, 8 years ago, and I walked in and I saw a room full of job seekers, I had never experienced that before, and I didn't know how to help them. But I asked questions. I was finding out what the problem was, and I started just asking them questions. And so my point to all of that is, did you try to even help? Because if someone, maybe they don't actually help me, but they tried to help me, they still got points in my book. They still get points in my book. Like, they tried. Does that make sense?
Well, that's having the resources. Okay, Trevor, I know you need X. I can't help you, but I got somebody who can.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Just
not me.
connecting dots.
It's
Bingo.
and it's all about getting you what you need and finding the solution. So it's not going
Mm,
to be me necessarily, but I know people who can help you. Here's a lead, here's an idea, here's a
mhm.
resource.
Yes. I mean, it's really simple. We do this all the time. Like, people think it's something big. It's really not. We do this all the time naturally in our everyday life when we are excited about something. For instance, the new, I haven't seen it yet, but the new Deadpool Wolverine movie came out, right? Okay, cool. Let's say I go see that and I'm like, man, this is the greatest movie ever. What am I doing? I'm telling the world. I'm like, hey, you need to go see this movie. Or maybe it's a restaurant that I just went through. Oh my gosh, it was the best restaurant. It was so amazing. They had the best service there. The food was phenomenal, right? What I'm doing is I'm referring this thing that I truly believe in, right? And so identifying and listening, to your point, to people's needs and pain points in their life, and then do you have, like, again, do you have a connection? Is there somebody you can connect them to, refer them to, that maybe does, like you were talking about, a graphics designing work that you have seen, that is good product, that is good service? Can you connect that dot? Just like you would connect that person if you asked me, you were like, hey, what's a good restaurant to eat in town? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just at the steak house. It's freaking phenomenal. You should try it. Same thing. We do it in everyday life, but why would we not do it for business purposes?
And listen, how often do the business people become your friends? All the time. Yes, it's you take it from the professional setting to let's have dinner, let's go, let's go on vacation together. So they become friends. To me, a lot of the reasons almost that you get work is you were meant to meet this person. It's the relationship you developed. So the job didn't last, the work didn't last, but the relationship, I've known this person for 40 years, and we've been helping each other in every way we could for those last 40 years. Work, personal, whatever, restaurants, movies, everything. Yeah. So it blossoms into a friendship. So I don't know the difference between business and personal in that sense, because they all sort of combine.
I agree with you 100% on that. There's a couple people just right off the top as you're saying this. It's exactly that way. And you also think about it too. Whenever you do that connection point, like, again, let's say you were asking for a graphics designer, and I know a graphics designer that I've done work with, and I'm like, hey, let me hook you up. Let me send you so and so, right? Let me connect you with this person, right? Well, you're actually strengthening two relationships in one. The graphics designer, right? You just hooked him up with a deal. Are you kidding me? And even if you don't buy, let's say you don't buy his services, the graphics designer you still tried. Like, again, you didn't have to be successful. You still tried. You got points in his book. He's like, man, Trevor just referred me some business. I didn't close the business, but Trevor referred it anyways. It doesn't matter. So you got points in his book, and I got points in your book. So you're actually strengthening two relationships at once when you make a connection.
Everybody wins. And you remember. So if I'm looking to you to get work, you remember that. It's not direct, okay? It's like, well, I turned you on to a graphic designer, you owe me a job. Doesn't know, but you just remember this guy's a great resource and he's really helpful and he's always there for me. I appreciate that. So you don't remember whether you hired the graphic designer or not. What you remember is that I was there to help you in some way, that you could call on me.
And I think a lot of people, okay, they don't necessarily do this. I know there are some people, you've probably met them too, that are like, oh, I don't give referrals. I don't do that. Okay. And it's because they had someone burn them. Like, they made an introduction at some point in their life. They connected a dot. It went sideways. It went sour, and it made them look bad. Like, they referred, hey, you should connect with this person, and it didn't go well. And now they feel bad. Right. And it's like, hold on. That, like, just because you may have had that happen once, okay, doesn't mean it's going to happen again, and it doesn't mean you should just stop.
Look, we've both been in sales, okay? It's no, 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 and yes, okay? So you have to ignore all the no's, okay, till you get to the yes. Doesn't have meaning necessarily unless you give it meaning, okay? So it didn't work out. I still like this guy. He didn't guarantee that this person would be the perfect graphic designer for me. That's fine. But they made the effort, as you said before. They made the effort, And this guy's solid, and he's reliable, and he's got a huge network. And when I need something, I'm going to call him and see. And if listen, I had a reputation. I work in digital media. Chaz knows everybody. I didn't, but that was the reputation because I was 2 or 3 steps away from. I can get you somebody. I can help you. I can help create a solution for the issue or the problem that you're having.
I love this episode, Dr. Chaz. I didn't know we were going here. I like to let these conversations flow fairly naturally. I do have some questions lined up, but we kind of went off of that because it just naturally flowed. And I think it actually is going to serve our audience better because this was powerful. It really was. This is like a masterclass in relationship building, really.
That's what it's about, is serving the audience. And that's what we did. We just let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's because of the nature of this conversation and who you are and your spirit and your energy. And I love your authenticity and just calling things how it is, because that's actually how I am too. So we have a very good synergy here. I love it. I really, really appreciate you. You're welcome on the show anytime. I'd love for the audience to connect with you. Where's the best way? I know you've mentioned LinkedIn a couple of times. Is that
best
the best
way? Yeah,
place?
best way is my LinkedIn page, Dr. Chaz Austin, ChazAustin, like the capital of Texas. And you can follow me there.
Amazing. Okay, hold tight 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the streaming here, but we do have a live audience over here on Clubhouse. I'd love to see if they have any questions. So guys, get your questions ready for Dr. Chaz, okay? But for everybody that's online, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all of them channels, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We love you. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.